What's going on, y'all? It's Derek J407, aka Best Heel Ever, and I'm here to give you my thoughts on this week's episode of Lucha Underground. I don't even know what episode we on. we episode whatever. You'll see it in the title. I haven't reviewed Lucha Underground in a few weeks now. We might be on like 20 something. I'm not sure. I've either not been able to see the show, or I was only able to see just a little bit of the show and not enough to do a review. Of course, with my job, I travel a lot, so I was out of town most times that I usually watch Lucha Underground, and I just didn't get much of a chance to go back and watch it. But I was able to watch this week's episode finally. Got to watch one, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Got some notes on my tablet here. And let's just break into it and see what happened on the show. The show kicked off with a segment in Dario Cueto's office. It was Black Lotus. This was coming off of last week, her confrontation with Dragon Azteca Jr., who found where Matanza's cage was at. Because, Dragon Azteca Jr., he wants to get his hands on Matanza because he believes that Matanza killed his dad. But of course we know who the real killer of his dad was. Just like we know who the real killer, we assume we know who the real killer of Black Lotus's parents were. But she came in, she told Dario about all this, and she told him that if you're lying to me about who really killed my parents, then you gotta take it up with the Black Lotus triad. And Dario told her that the only person who's been truthful to you this whole time has been me. And then he offered her a match against Dragon Azteca Jr. in a few weeks at Ultima Lucha Dos. So we get an Ultima Lucha again. That was the season finale last year, and now it's going to be the season finale again this year. So he offered her a match, and then he said that if she can beat him, and she can take his mask and deliver it back to the Black Lotus triad. So that should be interesting. We'll see how that progresses next. Up next, we had a match between Killshot and Marty the Moth. It wasn't even a match. They shouldn't even bother ringing the bell. Marty the Moth, he was out there. He stole Killshot's dog tags a few weeks ago, so he was out there with them. And then Killshot came from behind. They brawled on the outside. The referee rang the bell. He gave them time to wrestle on the outside, but then he started to count. Ended in a double count out. Killshot kicked the shit out of Marty the Moth in the face at one point, and he got his dog tags back, but Marty got back up, and he knocked him back out, and he was able to get the dog tags back and rub them all up against his face and all that shit. So, this feud continues, I guess. Okay. Up next, we had a segment in a police station, in an interrogation room. Of course, Mr. Cisco got arrested a few weeks ago by Officer Reyes and Officer Joey Ryan. I forgot his real cop name, but so they were in there, and then the lieutenant, or the chief, the police chief, Vasquez, she was in there too, and they ran down his rap sheet, he's been, done some crazy shit, Mr. Cisco has. So she offered to let it all go, and in exchange for him to go undercover with Dario Cueto, wear a wire, and pick up any information that they need, because along with money embezzlement and drug peddling and murders and all that kind of stuff, he's into some crazy shit. I think she said he may be like the causer of the end of days or some shit like that. I don't even know what the hell that means, but it sounds pretty fucked up. Cisco basically said fuck you at first, and then she was like, fine, rot in jail. So they went to leave, but then he stopped him, and then he reconsidered, and that's when she revealed that end of days thing. And now it looks like he'll be going undercover, wearing a wire. So this shit heats up. I want to see Dario go to jail, man. I like him too much. I don't want to see him get arrested, but it might happen. It might happen. And then just like that, we go on to a very special match. It was Jack Evans and PJ Black taking on Aerostar and Drago, who we've barely seen this season. But they had a very unique match. It was a nunchuck match. There were nunchucks placed sporadically around the building, in the temple, and they were used. And this match was a nunchuck match. So you can just imagine all the crazy batshit insanity that goes along with a match of that caliber. Of course, the nunchucks were used. There was even some nunchucks high up in the temple to where you had to climb up on the balcony to get them. They were used. Just a bunch of craziness in this match. As someone who likes those old like kung fu movies and all that kind of stuff, and seeing nunchucks being used, I enjoy it. It got to a point where so we get to the finish. Jack Evans and Aerostar are up on the balcony, and it looks like Jack Evans is about to get thrown off. PJ Black is on. He's like climbing up. He's trying, or not climbing up, but he's trying to prevent Jack from falling to his doom, to his death, pretty much. But he knocked Jack Evans off, and Jack Evans fell on PJ, and then Aerostar dove off and dove onto both of them. Then Drago got Jack Evans back in the ring, hit him with the nunchucks again, and then got him in the corner and just spit green mist right in his face, and it was able to get the pin, and Drago and Aerostar pick up the victory. It was a fun match. It was different, a nunchuck match. I've never seen that before, so because of that, I thought it was pretty cool. So nunchucks are cool. They make everything better. And then just like that, we move right on to the main event. It was a 6-on-6 tag team match. The winning team, will face each other next week in an elimination match to determine the number one contender for the Lucha Underground Championship at Ultima Lucha. You have the all babyface team of Prince Puma, the Mac, Sexy Star, Tejano, Havoc, and Son of Havoc, and Rey Mysterio against Johnny Mundo, Taya, Ivelisse, King Cuerno, Phoenix, and originally Chavo Guerrero. Poor Chavo. Poor Chavo. He was making his way out there, and then from behind rolled in, literally, Pentagon Jr. on his little motorized wheelchair. He came in, he gave Chavo props, said like, you were the only one who supported me, and I thank you for that. But now I'm back, I'm gonna destroy you. So he proceeds to beat the fuck out of Chavo, broke his arm, and was able to get his spot in the match because Dario Cueto came out and, said that, I'm all about opportunity and I give the believers what they want, and they want you in this match, so just make sure this is what you want. And he got in there, he said, Cero Miedo, and he took Chavo's spot. So poor Chavo, dude won Gift of the Gods a few weeks ago. Then the very next week, he had to defend his Gift of the Gods title against Cage. That in and of itself is punishment. But then he loses, and now here he gets another shot, and he gets his ass kicked and his arm broken. And he didn't even do anything wrong. In fact, Pentagon specifically said that you helped me. You supported me. You were the only one who supported me. But he still killed him. Pentagon is ruthless, man. So Pentagon stole his spot. You pretty much figured what the outcome would be now. That and the fact that one team consists of heels and babyfaces, that makes for a much more interesting match next week as opposed to an all babyface team like the one Sexy Star and Mysterio and all of them were on. As for this match, it was fun. A lot of craziness. Of course, you got 12 people out there, and it's Lucha Underground, so there's going to be a fuck ton of dives all over the place. So it was just dive after dive after dive after dive. It was ridiculous, to be honest with you. But in the end, I believe Johnny Mundo scored the pinfall, the winning fall. I think it was on a Prince Puma. Ray hit a 619 on Mundo, and then Puma was going for the 630, but then Mundo got Ray and threw him into the turnbuckle and knocked Puma down, and he was able to knock down Puma and got the pinfall. So the heel babyface tandem win, and now all six of them will face each other next week in a 6-person elimination match to determine the number one contender for the Lucha Underground Championship. The winner will face Matanza Cueto at Ultima Lucha Dos. I think it's in 4 weeks, Ultima Lucha is. So, looking forward to that. And then the show closed, going back to King Cuerno's trophy room, where all the deer heads and other animal heads are hung up on the wall and shit. A dead Mil Muertes is up in a glass box, and then in comes Katrina, who tells him to rise, and his eyes open, they're beet red. He breaks his head through the glass, and the glass shatters, and now Mil Muertes has risen. This is the resurrection of Mil Muertes, so to speak. So now he's back, and I'm sure he's coming for King Cuerno, so I'm sure that'll be his downfall next week, that being Cuerno. Pretty good episode of Lucha Underground here. I enjoyed it. The first one I watched beginning to end in a few weeks, and of course the first one I reviewed in a long time. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to that 6-man elimination match next week. I'm looking forward to Ultima Lucha in a few weeks to see who will face Matanza. I think we all kind of have a feeling who's going to face Matanza. I think we knew who was going to face Matanza months ago when he got his back broken in the first damn place. Yeah, it should be interesting. So until then, I will check y'all all later.